media, a few minutes ago, I signed a directive declaring a high-profile person a fugitive from justice. This person is wanted by the OSP to answer charges in respect of several cases, including the following. 1. Contractual arrangements between Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited and the Ghana Revenue Authority for the stated objective of the enhancement of revenue assurance in the downstream petroleum sector, upstream petroleum production.
This is the debate with Munufi Mo GDC Ubia Hwe. And the Yababedi Yeraken Ofori-Atta Hon Enkomo. The latest updates be ebeso also. Now if at the end of the video no obisa won say papai wherever he is when and how he is going to come back to Ghana. That is something that me know nyina ba with the Munufi said then they came here. Yamre na fide yamuboso enko, because on this particular channel no, I do a lot of analysis and then present data to you. Na fide me no nyina abobo adwuma no so e de asiase. Former finance minister, right after say to abani wi na no ena papa yi to free Ghana. Na corruption related offenses bi e ma ne ho be bom. Eno nti ye si ehwehwe papa yi saa ye friend ba bia wadoje odene fa ha na okosi ha oye ne si a osememba na charges ahodo ankasa na OSP, Office of the Special Prosecutor, edebo papa yi no. To be honest, what the charges bako 5 and a bo papa yi. Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited contract bi ehon na papa yi ho bo mu. ECG ne company we find BXC contract termination. It terminated that particular contract. Papa yi yese ne ho bo mu. Ono no ye finance minister ena na na dan kwakufu ado ereshafo no yewura ebe share ho. Enti papa yi during the 7.5 years administration of Nana dan kwakufu ado ne de no ye the biggest man in the country. Party for kwa churo petition de come president yi president de bi montomobo oye adwuma dia mame. National Cathedral hon se nyina na papa yi na ne ho bo mu. Enti as to how we invested that quantum of money into a pit hole, the largest swimming pool in the country, no. Na papa yi ho bom. Ambulance procurement bin so e ho nsensem ba ya na yewrai na ho bom pa. Any GRA tax refund account bi a as a refund this can be a kotoba bibi no. Office of the Special Prosecutor say papa yi omra no me nsem bia no. Na hwehwe papa yi hwehwe na papa no ye hu no. Emma Special Prosecutor e de papa yi eto wanted list. If I show you Special Prosecutor abra wadi papa yi eto wanted list.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, a few minutes ago, I signed a directive declaring a high-profile person a fugitive from justice. This person is wanted by the OSP to answer charges in respect of several cases, including the following. 1. Contractual arrangements between Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited and the Ghana Revenue Authority for the stated objective of the enhancement of revenue assurance in the downstream petroleum sector, upstream petroleum production, and minerals and metals resources value chain. 2. Termination of a distribution, loss reduction, and associated network improvement project contract between the Electricity Company of Ghana Limited and Beijing Zhaochen Technology BXC. 3. Procurement of contractors and materials and activities and payments in respect of the National Cathedral project. 4. Activities and payments in respect of a contract awarded by the Ministry of Health, initially commenced by the Ministry for Special Development Initiatives to Service Ghana Auto Group Limited for purchases and after-sales service and maintenance of 307 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 305 CDI ambulances for the National Ambulance Service. And 5. Payments out of and utilization of the tax refund account of Ghana Revenue Authority. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the fugitive's name is Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta.
All right, into Special Prosecutor, this means declare papai Unyana, Babia Bachini Biana, Chenebre Ghana. Hwana papa in a lawyer for see David and Tiasie. Here now, Papa Pani big mind to say, Kinuvrata now declare wanted. Very, very simple, son. Yen Tiasie. Emma Nebe, kiki, Papa is say, Omba. And it became a national issue. Send you again and you be any no. Emma Papa, yes, so yare. OSP so wow yare. Ne yere ankasa be kasa say that you kunu de oyare. Pacho yemisa na yere say dear potin ene ha wukuna you kunu yare na also on my.
Is a real trooper. Is just sort of going through the steps of recovery, which the doctors expected. And we know that we have to make sure that his wounds don't get infected. Those are just sort of the things that one has to go through when one has surgery. The sample taken, it was clear that there was cancer in the prostate. And then the surgery was scheduled for June 13th.
All right. Until the year say papa yi cancer. Prostate cancer until ho adwuma e na wote ba bia oye ni bisa na yere say na okunu oye a oso o mikunu de obaba ma obi an ore mikunu de oye Ghana ni anka se nti obaba. Enti papa yi call court said there be on tiase say ye born wanted no say asem no ono odwen ho a on tiase. Enti Ofori-Atta na lawyers e call court ko pray ya ma dabi court say there be still na Ghana. When a minority leader, Afenya Markins, could you know Parliament of the House say, Ofori-Atta, Eba Ghana be facing Ghana. Emma, even the majority leader beside say, ah, na Ofori-Atta, when you member of Parliament, I don't know about Ghana say, you hear that particular discussion I call so our Parliament.
To assure the nation that this side of the House will do all it can to ensure that the member, the Honourable Ofori-Atta avails himself, his lawyers, Mr. Speaker, in a letter dated today, the 18th of February 2025, have written to the OSP, and for the avoidance of doubt, I shall read the content aloud. It's addressed to the Special Prosecutor, our redirection to attend the Office of Special Prosecutor. It reads, we acknowledge receipt of your letter dated the 17th of February 2025. We respectfully indicate that our client's post-mark date for his return cannot be any time before 6 to 8 weeks after the possible surgical intervention in March stated in the Mayo Clinic letter. Our client hopes that taking into account the surgery dated the 20th to 21st of March and recuperation period, he should be able to back to this jurisdiction between 14th May and 30th May 2025. We hope you find this date reasonable and same can guide your office in fixing a date for the in-person attendance of our client to your office for investigation. Having clarified the purpose and length of our client's absence,
Leader.
we hope that the tag of a
Leader.
wanted person.
Hold on, please. Yes, my majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, what the minority leader is doing is conveying a communication from the lawyers of Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta to this House. Mr. Speaker, the rules of this House are clear on communications. If you go to Order 65, it is clear on communications to the House. Who qualifies to communicate to the House and who qualifies to convey the communication to the House? They are clearly spelled out in Order 65, and I think that what he's attempting to do is to convey a communication by the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta to this House, which is clearly wrong. Mr. Speaker, it is clearly wrong to attempt to be the conveyor of communication from Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyers to this House. I think that it is not acceptable, and we cannot accept communication from the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta to this House. He is not a member of this House. He is not a Minister of State. And so there's no basis for this House to be receiving communication from the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta. We haven't summoned him before any of our committees. He is not to appear before a committee. We are not investigating him. So on what basis is his lawyers communicating to us?
All right, so what's a question we don't even know why all of a sudden no minority leader decided say Kenu Forata Monsema send a lawyer for actual letter come OSP. You will bring it onto the house, Parliament House, and read the said letter to members of parliament. For what? And then say Ghana you might be a serious. What the let's assume that admit is Adina minority leader here was correct. And they be seeing Kenu Forata were here. Because you were communicating to Ghanaians in the Parliament House, say, Kenu Forata, what my a specific date at Kenu Forata, but Kenu Forata did not show up. It is a Ghana you come to be a serious. I think by now you hold the minority leader accountable. Because you cannot go straight to the house, the Parliament House of Ghana, and they deceive Ghanaians. Say, Kenu Forata is coming on this particular day. Abra Wankasa knew that Kenu Forata is not coming. The NPP party, sometimes Udo Musia, no more Pia, Oyo Musia, they seem to be holding Ghanaians onto ransom, believing and thinking that they are the only reasonable people in the country. And so, Papai, ne yiran kasa aside to wakasa eno. Any through the family, any communicate about stay, Papa no. Ne hondo don't know why you appreciate so he's gonna come. But the argument na you because I'm building a particular point. That is why I've started from this far. Mede eba. Enti family nankasa of Kenu Forata nankasa on the 16th of June this year a release document. Pacho inyina yenkai on it's on our screen. Enti say ebiana uhua. It's something that I'm going to read for all of us to see. The press briefing in a family nankasa debaya on Monday 16th of June 2025. I don't even know Chiti if that was what he tried to mean or he was trying to or seeking to exhibit in the house. Kenu Forata undergoes successful cancer surgery. My husband, Kenu Forata, the former finance minister, has undergone the scaled robotic assistant radical prostate. I don't even know is it a prostatectomy? All right, that is the prostatectomy. That is the right word that she was trying to mean here. This was to deal with prostate cancer, and it was done at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota on Friday, June 13th. The procedure took 4+ hours. I don't even know why his wife decided, what was it? They were playing tricks on Ghana. Say, Obi etiwana so okoye ni surgery or clinic bi. Nice, it was successful. Yeah, mfa say Kenu Forata beba Ghana no that stretcher so ambulance and the neighbor say nobody care. But the wife actually decided say or be communicate his answer when you know that Ghana for to court public sympathy. Because oh papa na cancer no. Yeah, for so they were communicating all these kind of things to Ghanaians, knowing very well that they were lying. And you know, but they decided to lie all these kind of things to Ghana for saying, you may some public sympathy and they are paid. Let's do things here. The doctors are pleased with how the procedure went and will now place him on a post-operative regime. I don't even know, these are medical terms. Stone. When I'm a medical doctor, you can tell me very well how this kind of things. So pronouncing it sometimes quite very difficult for me. So the wife, through the family, told us a lot of things about eba ningina she and kusiwe. And so one special prosecutor say, hey, mema momfa Ghana for media gorosa. And the special prosecutor declare papai wanted. Emma ye can a red notice. I mean for we into answer. Answer nearby. And here the papa got to red notice so. But you move your home papa. So we went to Interpol website and got and you could say and papa pay a dow. And then I bought red notice so come pa and order how. And a special prosecutor sign read declare papa no. Say akwa we manyeni say ya anhwana wa magana enti osan epusibiem yen san enti ensem potea special prosecutor abra also redeclare papai on the red notice no osan ekae.
In pursuance of this, about 30 minutes before this briefing, I triggered processes for the issuance of an Interpol red notice for the location and provisional arrest of Mr. Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta in whichever jurisdiction pending extradition or his surrender. Around the same time, I dispatched a request for extradition processes to be instituted for the provisional apprehension in any jurisdiction in which Mr. Ofori-Atta may be located or found, and his extradition to the Republic of Ghana. The OSP will prefer criminal charges in the courts against Mr. Ofori-Atta in due course, whether in absentia or otherwise.
All right, the OSP was clear. So, Papa, you best start it. The question we are asking now is, OSP, who declare a check? Also, say Papa the back Ghana, so in absentia, obe prosecute Papa. But how far with that? That is the question. Maybe the first one. And then there was a question say OSP declare obi wanted through Interpol sana. Then FBI ebetimi ayafa home because many of us believe say Yera Ofori-Atta was or is based in the United States of America. And that kind of discussion also no ekoso. And the lawyers were trying to play some jamdam and America for through FBI so they have studied the case with Ken Ofori-Atta, but they think say it has nothing to do with witch hunting. Until Mr. Ofori-Atta, baby will be an and the number man facing the laws of the country. Do you understand what I'm trying to mean here? Because some people were thinking say a political witch hunt and are buying a year. Until Mr. Ofori-Atta and yadi will be Ghana ha. But FBI, Amayati assess there be or Mama Ghana green light, go ahead say, see it with which never be a papa wa, the bachano at the naba. That's very fair. And if pay charges no, a ya hodu enum any so baby facing by any baby doing come. Come baby doing, but you take your time and listen to come baby doing because on this particular channel I see a lot of things or one we are what we are actually trying to mean here. The tomo. That is why I take my time and do a lot of research. Now video my best started. Now me know nyina abo enkomo so. Enkomo na neighbor be di no. Ni nyina no enye obi a Ken Ofori-Atta won komo ya neighbor be di. But your question be in the comment section no. Obe started na video e di enkomo na aba. Papa e ma yeti asese oyare. Through ohe letter ya me to say the family through the family na yere those kind of stuff. Ede abeto hona say oyare. The question here be say so because oyare a through what means and obetimi akopagene free yare mpaso ede na ba say ye medi nasem on the criminal charge. Do you think say US for so say US no sha US betimi say adwuma no? That is the first question I mean we be discussing. The president of the land Asante Ora uncover a lot of the massive corruption and corruption related cases via baby daily. Do you think say President person or use Ken Ofori-Atta as the yastika ye nyawa ye be bo bi anase den and as is it a genuine case papa na ayi dwumadi bi Ghana we need him in the country to answer questions. But we are going to ask a lot of questions. Then at the end of the day no I will give you a lot of answers bi o Sebi uhia. Court processes in Ghana no. Do you think say near the Ken Ofori-Atta ba Ghana? Do you think say court no ebenya pepa bi e Ghana ho ye nyina enim no Ghana ye nyina enim no say eba be di papa yi asem frenchem? Do you think say a selective justice and as a politically motivated issue ho asem na ye ba be di? And then we are going to discuss all these kind of things. Transparency and strength of evidence better ye wo fi say Ghana buying a strong case against papa and as you need any case against papa no. Because NPP for be so man, they will say something different. Who be saying this if why say so we need to gather all these kind of things and then yakasa found. Then we also going to discuss about the consequences ebenya e Ghana so because Ken Ofori-Atta say no question yare da yare mpaso a na say kwatwene kura de ne ba what kind of consequences in ebenya e man so adwenkyere bia ho obetimi de wo de aba me so I also add man. Then the international dimension a tiki yen. Do you think say US meet me extradite papa yi edina Ghana for an answer? May I keep asking myself. President Cook say fishy OSP. I have my doubts about OSP, but he needs to prove me right or wrong. Then the first question we say, do we think say Ken Ofori-Atta does he hold a Ghanaian citizenship or a citizenship of another country? I'm not saying say he holds a citizenship of another country, but I'm asking because based on data and information here, one say Ken Ofori-Atta enkita Ghanaian citizenship, and I said no, a dual citizenship holder. It will be very difficult for Ghana to get him back to Ghana. Because let's assume, I'm not admitting say it's a fact, but I'm assuming say, Ken Ofori-Atta a US citizenship. Do you think the US ever release in Ghana, and Ghana say me face any criminal issues in Ghana? These among others. If I show you in the comment section, now I feel there, I don't know if he is dead or not, but I doubt to say Ken Ofori-Atta well, I was Ghana the weird to me see because you ever talk about na santi be there to cause or yare or maybe he say be as who na santi be there to him say and of course or yare was say you have no idea or yare maybe I believe say be our shadow was buying on Abi Lucy, then he decided to go somewhere else and then hide. That is what I realized. Except back we say bomb tunes, a buff tunes, a bone tunes, and they are all gone. So sometimes it's like that, and all these kind of people, they end up being in the United States of America because I mean, you say Ken Ofori-Atta, investment be or Panama, those kind of things we know, but we have not seen or heard from him. The year communicate each other, and the wife is just working freely in Ghana. But we need to also have a real look at the laws of the country to say, Obi. Esa Ghana japade obekọ kwa na we bi ameka se kwa fridge nko ana esi ni fie aye no ane dia obekọ fie otim kwa na oni bi na no echi Polado chere ne koyi also no ni landed property bia nti Polado chere all of a sudden no edan o nyina ene ma media. So how are we going to get this kind of people say be omo commit this kind of offenses? Let's say here more money. How are we going to deal with all these kind of things? We need to have a national discourse on all these kind of matters because a lot of issues about and easy. Karim said the NPP will say the FBI are NDC affiliated. Well, that's how they see, they say FBI and this kind of things. So the first question, baby, is say, what legal standards must we as a people meet to declare someone a fugitive or obtaining a red notice? What DNA nipa ne be ya ibetimi I release red notice e dey masa nipa no. Say we Ghana ni na Jesus say we Ghana ni wadi boni bi no dwene kotena amanone a. Yewo, do we have that treaty with other countries in we here na yet never ba and as I say me who say was another than go for this administration no. Nkofo bi ko US here kwa chikwe ni as Edna Ghana. But we say they couldn't succeed. They couldn't succeed because one team sorry unko United States of America say ubi to US Eddie Ghana buy atem ti okwa chene de naba. Aboa papon any hopes and doya na yes adwuma no. But one will say na abro nya ti Ghana didi atem a chene no. These same NPP for no. So munti bi da. Yet they were able to fly from Ghana so muko US. Akwache twenu as the naba Ghana. Minim say no you never share bag mo so no you appointing or how they thought say they were going to do that. But they said they were working on the streets of US. Will be the naba Ghana. By the same people the same Ken Ofori-Atta mra Ghana. Omso munti bi da. Abro nya aka say tia Ghana pay for bi na achena. Omso munti bi da. Double standards. One political party. The same people no double standards. And omoka we na ochina no maka we. Omoka we and ochina no moka we. But the question is, do you think that Ken Ofori-Atta will rise to remain outside for on medical grounds and accident? Because as a people, I mean, he has every right to do that. But because the doctor ain't releasing now, how are you going to get him out of there to come? Because OSP needs to know better. Because Ghana Mbrana ne da share say dwuma we ne dem was fight corruption. And the answer na wo be ka say okwo bia kofo bia ba no. You should be sure. But me, I have said this before, and I'm repeating it here today. But can't ask another. Maybe let me try to see if I can get the OSP Act. You told me maybe, but let me be frank here. Because sometimes on my show, me can't. I just want to be sure. Say, maybe I meet me can't be in there. Or channel be saying I have to repeat the same thing and say me did true. The first special prosecutor and another Danko Akufo appointed no Era Martin Alemisi Amidu. Papa NDC ni and another appointed as the first special prosecutor. On the resign ye kisi jabe bae. Only the first person who can another is the mother serpent of corruption. Papa Inekai. Bra no OSP no. NB before kofa Airbus and Sembi bae saying say current president hobomu because nini ebi to UK nini ana hobomu. Although nini ana was an agent for Airbus or peme ton Airbus nema. He's a British citizen. And then former OSP catch the Ghana for say oh no ko UK akofa jo mama nua na be fit the laws of Ghana. Me tena me shoot to so boa ontimi because per the OSP Act, you cannot cross the jurisdictions of Ghana. Let me try to see if I can get that OSP Act in discuss here. We need to discuss all these kind of things. Because here, when you are to be better than Ghana, or two futuro di go for any one. But by the time who say Nipan, as some can say, no, won't even cross the jurisdictions of the country. No, waste your time, there be any discussing. Wait, my time do my Ghana for discusses, I want to for be a Ghana. Because act in a Ghana one who to be fighting corruption, won't even cross the jurisdictions of the country. But okay, the people be agreeing then and cause any so that is why they keep deceiving Ghanaians. And to me, I brought OSP we cast or no, quack or chew be for US about I had my doubts. Now who act in a casa called the edge man, oh, cross Ghana. Now we are because got you about of course then he says oh he's going to engage FBI, those kind of things. We are sure say Cathedral American citizen. I mean, can't you. But well, of course, we have a lot of things where we cannot be saying say this is the fact. But do you think say Cathedral American citizen? Who bet me ako check Cathedral the nephew American ba? That is something as people no as you know discuss it. Because you are when you are nyema bibiro ha emwaye. Nti wa obenya kwan abaka OSP Act ni bia na kan hwe yi say OSP no so jurisdiction outside Ghana ubehu oni jurisdiction so ubehu. And this is papa yi catch say okwachi obi afiri America or whatever the naba. I don't know how he's going to do that. But what they hwe no so the beba. The only means I mean as say in absentia so ni hokora na yebetimi adinasem. Na say that bia na yekochi ni ba bi edinaba. I have no problem with that. But some of say wo kwa America ko fana ba din the master he did kwa no moye. Sometimes I don't even know say OSP we beat me I adwuma yo so ntimi nye ne yo. That is another question in another video. I beat me dey sa de no honkomo. The we are e dey eno so baba. I'll take my time go through the OSP Act and the but bia e chere say Ghana nkwa no beat me adwuma na aba be chere. That's what I say, because we need to be fair with Ghanaians. And so, people who you can, my young crosso. Because idea you don't need to go there. Oko catch the Ghana and he say, oh, bit my say, I better want him say, untimenya. Chitty Chatter say, remember the message you went to her. Then I explain it to you much better. I say, the US can extradite its own citizens to another country if there is an extradition treaty in place with that country. That is by law, right? But how is the question here? How? Say, what Ghana? Nasi ubi American citizen. Wakwa actually the come American for so mon former citizen emre me wa Ghana. Na mini na se me fa nko tum wa Ghana. How is the means here? I don't know if you understand my question. On paper, that is a fact. But when US near the naba Ghana see baby dinner sem da. Be honest with yourself. Even US citizens who committed crime in Ghana now, there is an order I Ghana if you could dinner sem US. So are you telling me say so be to US That's all Ghana by also here in Ghana. Na US for na afa nipa na tena play mu de na brɛ Ghana. Right? That's okay. So your second point was Ghana has to submit enough evidence to satisfy the US court before Ofori-Atta can be extradited. And how? That still how? That is how we're gonna say it because nipa na yare da mpa so wo say okofana ba. Na se Ofori-Atta ka so odi aduro to say na abronya te Ghana kola also seeking for political asylum. He said next Ofori-Atta any US citizen kwa na seeking for political asylum based on the grounds said he's sick and open medical attention. Do you think the US will be pagana to play mu at the Nabre Ghana? I don't know. This is a question that we need to ask ourselves because sometimes in the Yamini, Anita says is very disappointed to call herself a supporter of NPP because sometimes NPP as a political party, no, I won't behave with somebody in Ghana for. That is the truth. But how can then they think say maybe you are insulting them? They don't believe in Ghana. But we need to discuss all these kind of things. Now, if they on medical conditions and accountability, let's take so we say me yare. Then find and then say on accountability issues. Do we have a line in between citizen American so be yare than paswa? Yeah, I know operation said and the can maybe name the kind of operation and the yere equal to this medical terms maybe nimbi. Obey there ko pagani pan sa odene bagana. Or me face the laws or accountability in the country. The question is what kind of medical, because OSP was once was saying say the medical certificate can Ofori-Atta there on Ginny. But the test here they say what kind of evidence do you need to get and so what I say and documents we depend by in law and yet to say a kind of storybook. Many people get a lot of things confused in our day-to-day lives. So because the law they are a very, very complicated and very, very complex issue. Because you need to set a standard, say, answer maybe I need this, I need that, I need this, and I need that. But as a country, do we have those kind of things? Well, I was saying, many people think, say when you are arrested on criminal charges, I say will prove you innocence. There be any criminal issues in Ghana next year. Rather than the prosecution needs to prove your guilt, but you don't have to prove your innocence. If I should see someone American, say a on a criminal matter. What a Ghana they on a criminal matter? Who could police station and Casabibre? What was a Bronya lawyer say? Video na ye de chere no say Abronye. Aji kwa na Abronye se oni mo hwe. Pacho ebi a wonte ye. Pa me we se benya that particular name that chero. Abronye lawyer say Abronye so no ni mo hwe. Pacho ti no hayi.
Munhu wa baby ampoda.
What say?
Munhu sa video no baby ada.
Asini wi asini na bro hu ga video no da.
Indi ni pa na wo video ni mu kan yon no a.
Picture me die. Picture say na no bi abetima for bi a picture dia ye bibi. Obi, e wi asina be zi aye drum mu no. It's an AI word.
Yeah.
It's an AI word.
It's true. And that's just the way cry bit my obi na create AI a creative video bi.
Obi e bit me afa WhatsApp na sa based on the video.
So what I say? It's a Abronye lawyer say video na police for that Abronye no. Abronye say nyon no. O say we are seeing your AI world. The better to be na fa Abronye document and I say na no and then the picture and the cook create AI and a kasa to say Abronye. But nya Abronye. Legally he is right. And the prosecution is a for original footage, you know. The person that be a day when I can when now team and now you way. Abronye saw the letter the from his page. And the baby I will for free the prosecutor Abronye. It's now the problem. That is why on another program I can say it wasn't a prosecution in your monument in we answer no makocha Abronye. But what Abronye we not do kujina quarter unya the original footage, you know, and found kutia Abronye. Why won't say not question about 1 week or something come back because prosecution ain't the original footage, you know. Wanya okofa to say media issue you know but now say AI who that is criminal issues a different thing and this one tobwa obe rational ye name maybe and now can see bia ube do sin anim no e ho na be hu say I don't know say na enyem kwala go say And the Chile Charter you are around, say Ghana has to submit enough evidence to satisfy the US court. And you cannot just take a plane. Or could tell US as I say, what you be the Naba Ghana and you know, because a lot of things need to be done. And so the year can for that Abagana. So the question and people want to kind of say, hey, selective justice because your mama, a lot of things going on. Kufo time be by and why can you for that? And as any people, a lot of things happen to why can you for that? So are we talking about selective justice here, or does it have a political motive? You discuss this kind of things as a people. Maybe sometimes I need to be fair. Maybe in second for that, can't within someone be organ now. But why can you for that? NDC government through the Attorney General, new special prosecutor will see because my papa I don't see him fighting for NDC. Because our NPP ni and I saw the Ghana for Agni Diago Krabisa. And yam pay another person if it will be my boy money. The Kayera Rollins and Mamukwa and Victor Salome. Or was it Victor Salome? There is one finance minister we are not Kwabusha Kosana Hoyare. Yet the never Ghana money be woo prison. Was it done with a quick or something like that? I stand to be corrected. Maybe if independently, it's either Agbudakwi or Victor Salome. One of these people. Oh, Kwabucha Kosana Hoya. Do why I said Cheneba Ghana didn't be facing court. I'm in prison. Well, we name independently. You can correct me. I stand to be corrected because I've actually forgotten the name Nangasa. Now he was, I think, the deputy to Kwame Pepra or something like that. Because we need to do it very clean. Now, this seriousness be attached, and yes, there be any in the public domain, but in reality, nobody sees what we are doing. Because security have a pay, Afriama Ghana Bocano, but be or she be an essay team the deba. No be face the justice of Ghana. But how prepared are we? Why in a boy am I as a human? Asari, you have a good evening, Minia. Why in a boy am I as a human? So we need to build upon a lot of issues and so yet me getting somebody back there. Now for the above is a discussion. In international dimensions, when what to say the Chitita chat what kind of documentation do we need to give to the US court to get Kenufurata back? So we issue red notice, Anna. Is it just mail on paper? And as a crime ben here faso a coffin nipa. That is something we need to discuss because a Kenufurata and come who be that say the kinky a party. But we stood him, we watched him do this kind of things. Into my young home, not as a paper, no, you won't quite before I did reckon for that, but we face the justice of Ghana. But what am I? You can also say it. Yes, Honorable Victor. Yeah, that was Victor Salome, right? That's it. Why are they? Because sometimes also then when we tend to forget, and I want to be sure of the person. That's it. It's a Kenufurata a dodgy US. Yeah, the neighbor, and I any day. More in the comment section. If the union education come about. What I'll do is say I have to attend to something urgently from now until and then the basic ha. Na nyame adoma ochina. I'll be back for them. Na for the ebabidi unkomono album. Bidi any William Munufi amankona. Until I have to attend to somebody, I just got a call. I have to attend to something, so I'll be back maybe tomorrow. Then we continue with this particular topic. But so we say we can for that baby. Can't say Ghana, Ghana. Now, what the never face Ghana. Bye bye.